Welcome to the Seating and Selection Show for the 2024 Nusenda Credit Union State Football Championships for Six-Man and Eight-Man Football. We know there are some teams getting together to watch. Big shout out to the Tatum Coyotes, who I know are watching the show. We will release the brackets for Six-Man and Eight-Man Football. But before we get to the brackets, we always like to remind everyone how the seating and selection process works. The seating and selection process is not the NMAA sitting in a room randomly deciding who should be the number 1 seed, 2 seed, etc., etc. It's not that. What it is a process that is all data driven. The following criteria is used to determine a team's seed. We look at finish in regular season district play, max preps rankings, overall record, member school input, that's the coach's input and their rankings, and any head-to-head matchups. The schools are compared to one another with each of those criteria points, and the seeding is determined like one big math problem. It's all based on the numbers and data. In the event of a tie among those criteria points, head-to-head will be used to break the tie. If there's no head-to-head competition or the head-to-head competition is tied, then max prep's strength of schedule will be used to break the tie. There is no input given by NMAA staff. Let me repeat that so everyone hears it. No input by NMAA staff. It's all data driven based on those criteria points. Did you have a better record? Were you ranked higher? Did you play head to head? All of those things, not just one criteria point, all of them. There is no bias for or against any school or team. Now that you understand how it's done, let's get to it. You clicked on this show to see the brackets, right? Let's start in six-man football. The top team heading into the 2024 postseason is the Logan Longhorns. Logan is led by head coach Dwayne Roberts. They have 8 seniors on the squad. They made the move from 8-man to 6-man football. Logan hasn't reached the state finals since 2014. They've never won a state football title and hoping this year is their first.
Being that I am a Longhorn alumni, it would mean a lot to me just to be a part of it and get the opportunity to coach this group of young men. And you know, that is something that we've all talked about. And there's nothing more than these guys would love to bring the first championship ever to Logan. And so, you know, that's on our mind, but we're trying to stay focused.
Here's a look at the 6-man bracket. Top seed Logan will open with New Mexico School for the Deaf. This is actually a rematch of last week's game. Elida is the 4 seed and will take on last year's state champ Roy Mascaro. Mountaineer earned the 3 seed and will host Dora, the 6. And Grady earned the number 2 spot and will host Magdalena. Grady is 8-1 on the year. Their only loss is to top seed Logan. Moving on to 8-man football, the number 1 seed this year goes to Melrose High School. The Buffaloes earned the top spot with their undefeated regular season record. They are led by head coach Drew Hatley. Melrose is a fixture in the football final with 6 state championships since 2014. They come into this postseason as the defending state champs with 9 seniors on the roster.
The first shout out I'd like to give is Cy Draper. Cy Draper's our center on offense and plays defensive line for us. He's a 4-year starter here at Melrose. He is a Buffalo through and through. And you know, he kind of makes us go. I'd like to give him a lot of credit because without him making the change to center last year, we may not have had the success we've had. We're led by quarterback Josiah Royball. Josiah Royball's got over 30 touchdowns on the season, 1,600 yards passing, another 400 yards rushing. In my opinion, Josiah Royball is the best football player in 1A.
The top 4 seeds get a bye, and here are the 4. Melrose is the 1, followed by Fort Sumner House, the 2. Mesilla Valley Christian is the 3, and Gateway Christian is the 4. Gateway Christian has been in a final each of the last 3 years. Here's a look at the 8-man football bracket. Voila! Mescalero Apache is the 8 and will face Lordsburg, the 9. Clayton Des Moines is your 5 and will take on Cuesta. Tatum is the 6 and will face Dulce, the 11. Manal is the 7 seed and will host Escalante, the 10, in the opening round. Now, little explanation here. Dulce was tied in criteria points with Tatum and Mescalero and Lordsburg, but they lost in that strength of schedule tiebreaker that we discussed. Gateway Christian and Clayton were also tied in criteria points, but Gateway had the better strength of schedule, so they are the 4 and Clayton is the 5. And Tatum and Manal also tied in criteria, but Tatum had the better strength of schedule, which, as we mentioned, is the tiebreaker when teams are tied in criteria points. So Tatum is 6 and Manal 7. There is your 8-man football bracket. Don't forget, you can watch the state championship games this fall on the NFHS network. So get a subscription and log on so you can watch the championship matchups. That's going to do it for the 2024 Nusenda Credit Union State Football Championship Seating and Selection Show for 6-man and 8-man football. Good luck to all the teams involved, and remember to compete with class.